Hey guys, Professor Perazzo here. It's my second installment. I think I'm going to call this Driving at Home with the Professor. Anyway, driving to our Sunday training sessions. And yesterday's video was about an interview with Hicks and Gracie and how I felt about how, certain moves are affecting the sport and all that kind of stuff. So a friend of mine posted a question, Professor Chris Savarese, affectionately known as Sav. If you've been around the jiu-jitsu community for more than a month, you know him. I think he's got like 30,000 Twitter followers and 50,000, whatever. He's got, a lot of people know him, like him. He's a very good friend of mine. But on top of that, he's very well respected in our community. And he asked me kind of a follow-up question about yesterday's video about how I felt that these new sport jiu-jitsu techniques, how were they affecting sport jiu-jitsu rather than just jiu-jitsu overall? Now, this is an interesting question, and I have two opposing answers to it. Do I think the new techniques are great? As a coach, man, I'm about for whatever wins. If my guy can win with these new techniques, if he could win a match by an advantage, if he could win a match by a referee's decision, ultimately a competitor's job is to compete and win. I don't care how he does it, when he does it, where he does it, as long as he wins, that's his job. Now, in a perfect scenario, do you want every one of your competitors submitting everyone they go up against? Yes, you do. But that's not always going to be the case. And you can see that at the jiu-jitsu tournament. So you see guys using 50-50 or whatever different techniques, and, they're maybe not very good at it or not really seasoned, but they're good enough to kind of make the match 6 to 8 minutes of stalling, and you don't see much going on, and it gets frustrating for the fan. But for the coach, man, if my guy wins, that's great. The judge or the referee saw it enough, or he got an advantage for an almost sweep or whatever. Now, mind you, I'd prefer it to be clearer, the victor, but I still want my guy to be the victor, So from that standpoint, as a coach, I don't think it's ruining the sport just because I need my guys to win. I want my guys to win. They want to win. So you know what? Let's win. Now, do they train these techniques? Do they go out and say, hey, I'm going to stall my way to victory? No. And if it comes up in a match and that's how they win, that's fine and dandy. And remember, what I tell my guys is, hey, you might not be happy about this win, but let's go get the next one, right? If you won that match because you had to stall and win, or you won that match and it was 0-0-0-0 and you won a judge's decision, well, you know what? Show the next guy how much jiu-jitsu you have, rather than losing to the last guy trying to prove whatever you needed to prove. To me, competition is about top of the podium, winning the gold medal and getting there. Pardon me, getting that first place in a tournament. Now, as a fan, as someone that has no vested interest in the participants involved, man, I hate watching those matches of guys doing nothing for 6 to 8 minutes and then with 15 seconds left eking it out. I'd like to, in some cases, rip whatever hair I have left out, and then these guys become, they move on to the next round or whatever. Now, I would say that you see a lot of that at some of the lower belt levels. When I say lower belt levels, I mean below black, right? To me, that's a lower belt level. No disrespect to, brown belts and purple belts and all that other stuff. But, honestly, the only world champions that counts are the black belt world champions. Again, no disrespect to anyone that's ever won a world championship, but in most other combat sports, judo, there's no belts in wrestling, but the best guys are the ones that wins and the ones that win. And we know the best guys typically in jiu-jitsu are the black belts, and the best of the best for sport jiu-jitsu are the world champions. So now, as a fan, do I want to watch those matches? No, I don't. I don't want to watch them. I don't have a vested interest. I don't care who moves on, so forth and so on. So I want to see, clear, decisive victories. So from that standpoint, from a fan standpoint, I think it's very bad for the sport. So that's why I kind of say I have two answers to the same question. If I were to have my druthers, everybody would be Fernando Margarita Pontes or Roger Gracie or Jacare or Marcelo Garcia or Damian Maia or Shanji Ribeiro. Those are the guys in my mind, and I probably left a few out, that they go after it. They try to win every match as decisively and as clearly as you could ever win a match by submitting their opponent or outpointing them 42-0 and still trying to get the submission. So, going back to the original question, do I think it's bad for the sport? As a coach, no. As a fan, yes. Because as a fan, man, do you think that somebody has never watched a jiu-jitsu match before, and you take him to the World Championships, and he sees two guys stuck in a position doing nothing for 9.5 minutes, and you're trying to explain to them, no, this is the greatest sport in the world. I've dedicated 18 years of my life to it. These are two of the top competitors. And your buddy looks, he says, yeah, it looks like two dudes scissoring. Like, what's going on here? So as a fan, I think it's terrible. The competitors should be going for the finish. They should be trying to, get the chokes, the arm locks, all the finishes that they know, or they should be trying to make their victories as clear and as decisive as possible. As a coach, man, scissoring wins for me. Scissoring is going to do it. Now, are we proponents of the scissoring and the, like all that other stuff? No. If we happen to get there, can we deal with it and can we win from there? We have and we can. All right? So that's why you put two hats on, coach hat, fan hat. So, like I said, if you want to watch some guys that kick ass in sport jiu-jitsu, look at highlights of Jacare. He's fighting MMA now. Look at highlights of Damian Maia. He's fighting MMA now. Look at highlights of Roger Gracie. He's fighting MMA now. Right? Look at Damian Maia. Look at Marcelo Garcia. Look at guys like that. Shanji Ribeiro. Guys that went for the finish. The newer guys. Buchecha. Right? Rodolfo Vieira. Cobrinha. These guys really try to make the fights happen, or the matches happen. Remember, they're not fights, they're matches, they're grappling matches. These guys are trying to make the matches happen. But even when you get to the finals, you have two of the best guys in the world. Man, typically, if you got two of the best guys in the world, those outcomes are going to be the slimmest of margins. So, those guys stalling, no, but they want to win. It's super important to them. So, when you're getting to the finals, it's in my mind, guys are going to do whatever it takes, and if whatever it takes means eking out a victory, it's eking out a victory. Getting a judge's decision, a ref's decision. The best example is, modern day is Rafa Mendes and Cobrinha. I think 3 out of their last 4 matches have been decided by judge's decision. So everything was tied up, and the judges decided. Now, up until those matches, were their matches exciting? Were they submitting people? Were they racking up points on people? 100%. But these guys are so evenly matched that, man, it's not going to make for such an exciting fight. Pardon me, such an exciting match, such an exciting, grappling environment, because Rafa Mendes, 3-time world champion. Cobrinha, 4-time world champion. So something's got to give, and it's the judges. It's the judging that gives, in the sense of they decide who the winner is, because those guys are so close and so skilled and so close in level of expertise in sport jiu-jitsu. So that's my feeling on it. I don't think it's, from a coaching perspective, man, coach to win. Bottom line, if what gets me to the next round, show your jiu-jitsu in the next one. If you can submit the guy, submit him. If you need to beat him by stalling, you beat him by stalling. As a fan, I want to see everybody get arm locked, get choked, get triangle, get thrown on their head, get their guard passed. I don't want to see guys stuck in the 50-50. So, I'm probably not the answer that people were looking for, but it's as decisive as I could be when I'm putting my hats on. When I'm a coach, it's about winning. When you're competing, it's about winning. When I'm a fan, it's about exciting me, right? Because I want to be able to show my friends that don't do jiu-jitsu, my cousins in Italy that know I do jiu-jitsu, hey, what's a jiu-jitsu match? I'm not going to show them 50-50 of two guys doing nothing for 10 minutes, because they're not going to understand that. Only I understand that. I'll show them matches of Rodolfo Vieira versus Buchecha or something like that. Guys that are trying to clearly beat each other. So I'm on the road now. I'm on I-95, heading in Philly. Heading to Maple Shade, New Jersey to get some training in. Going to do some jiu-jitsu, a little boxing, trying to be as well-rounded as I can be. If you guys have any more questions, check me out on my YouTube channel, Professor Perazzo, or on Facebook, hit me up. I'm on Twitter, and also email. You can find my email at njmaonline.com. Thanks, everybody, and enjoy your Sunday.